People see what we have at the top of the activity and they say, okay, great, I need this much wireless and I need to do shotgun mics and I have to do main stage and I should get a mallet station while I'm at it. It's the wrong way to frame like what we're doing out here.
What are the goals of your program? What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to take the marching band medium by storm, just up the production level of your band? Or do you really need those tubas, you know? And it's okay if the answer is yes. Spending 20 grand on speakers may not always be the best for your program. Maybe that 20 grand could go to better teachers or lessons or perhaps something of that nature, better facilities. There are priorities above sound. However, I think if you're a small band and you want to up the production level and compete at BOA and with some of the bigger bands, this is one of the quickest ways to do it, to add production level to your program.
I think sometimes we start with the gear and then see what it can do, and I usually do the opposite. Say, you know, where are your goals? What would you like to do? And then we work backwards and figure out what equipment we need to do those things.
With a lot of my high school groups and teams I work with, a lot of it is, you know, partially taking inventory of what we currently have and what's usable or not usable, and then we go, okay, what's the most important thing we got to do? Are we still running an analog console? Then let's get a digital console. Are we running speakers that are older than the freshmen? Then let's get something newer. Are there things that need to be repaired? You know, is it something we need to buy completely new, or can we fix it? That sort of thing. And then just kind of work with, again, with those budget constraints and make everything work as best as we can for that time.
I try to sway the opinion away from like, let's move to main stage immediately. Let's move to wireless immediately. We've got to buy the fundamentals of the system first, a mixer or speaker, and then the cart that houses that stuff.
If I had to prioritize it, I would probably put speakers, mixer, and then mics. If you have a great mixer and microphones, but you're putting it through two very not great speakers, you know, it can kind of squander all of the work that you do. I think the biggest thing is just make sure that you're prioritizing the growth and looking forward of your program.
You really get what you pay for in this activity with everything, because it's really important. Things work all the time. And so when you're spending less money for something that's gonna work some of the time, that might be okay in the moment, but when you get to that show and that big performance and the kids have been working all year and they're ready to throw down, and that equipment doesn't work, that's never worth the sacrifice. Groups that are building a system, don't worry about all that extra stuff. Let's just start at the fundamentals, and that's amplifying like what you have, amplifying your front ensemble, maybe wiring up a few soloists, maybe getting some sound effects in, and then we can focus on what else is out there.
It could be mixer, it could be loudspeaker, it could be infrastructure. So that would include power distribution, network, all of the cabling connecting microphones back to the system. No different than any other instrument that we use in the activity. We wouldn't tell a tuba player to play the tuba for 20 years. If you get to that point that you feel like you have everything, after that it might be a phased approach to continue to replace. Technology changes, equipment changes. After that 4 to 5 year period, then continue to look at upgrades.
If you're in a program where, you know, you don't have a dedicated audio staff, and that is most programs, it's on you to understand the gear, to understand how to fix the gear when things go wrong. If you buy something that's overly complicated and you know that you're gonna have struggles and the learning curve is gonna be too great, you're not setting yourself up. And you know, when you think about being an educator, the first thing that we do is interacting with the students, and we have to make sure that that experience is great. When the drumline can't play eights together and you're worrying about a new mixer that, you know, you don't really understand, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. Go into other programs who are similar to yourself, look at that gear, teach yourself that. It's something that someone can recommend that I feel really comfortable with this, and you believe in those results. And then, you know, over the summer, that's when you're trying to figure that out. So when you're standing in front of the students, you feel comfortable with that, because, you know, most of us as educators are going to feel really comfortable about teaching music because that's what we do. So you don't want to be able to take away from the best of what you do because of something that's new.
What is your program going to look like 5, 10, 15 years down the line? Because some of this equipment, if you treat it right, can last that long.
Phased approach definitely, from a finance standpoint, makes it much easier for those groups to kind of upgrade and increase their systems. At Bluecoats, we've phased our system in over the last 10 years. and continue to make constant improvements every year. So I think there's a lot of benefits, and also in terms of that, you're not trying to tackle too many changes at once. You know, if you started all at once and replaced mixer card and speaker card and all of that, that's a big ask for your team members to learn and try to put all of that in place in 1 year.
In addition, you get a staggered end of life. So instead of having to replace your entire system every 5 or 6 years and trying to get all the money from whomever, you can just do a little bit at a time, and your mixer is newer and maybe the other stuff is a little bit older, but then you replace that, and then by the time it comes due, you're not having to do everything at once.
I'm a big advocate of rock the gear that you have. So when you get new gear, oftentimes you have to piecemeal it anyway because of cost. So it's not a bad idea to integrate that with your old system. Maybe rock new outside speakers and you're using maybe last year's outside speakers as center fills now. Anything to spread your stereo image and get you a larger stage for sound design is a good thing to do.
I can't recommend enough like going into other schools and trying out their gear. Every piece of gear is going to be a little bit different, and depending on your size of band and how many people you have on your staff, different gear is going to be, you know, it's going to be different for everyone. So if you can find a program that's very similar to you and the staff that you have, and you can take a look at the gear that works well for them, go in, give it a shot. That can really kind of guide you, because it's a lot of gear out there and it's tricky. So just try to ask people who have been where you want to be.
I think this activity is blessed because we're very collaborative. It's a small community of people that really want the best for students. And so that makes everyone really open to sharing their advice. First, you should solicit opinions on the Facebook groups that we have, or if you want to reach out to someone specific, you can usually do that. The next thing I would do is look at what the cores are doing. You know, we put out a lot of videos, kind of look at the equipment that we're using and how we're using it. From there, you can kind of break it down into what might work best for you.
All groups should look at some kind of consultant, audio professional to help them along the way. You don't ask the band director to write the music, write the drill, write the choreography. They're all specialized crafts. I'm not saying that a group needs to go hire the top audio consultant, but maybe there's somebody who works in the theater program who understands audio. Maybe there's somebody that works at a local church. There's a lot of resources, not just in the activity, that you could pull from your area to come in and kind of get you on the right path for basic audio principles.
So the big question is, how much does all this stuff cost? You know, what do I need to ask my boosters for? What do I need to ask my district for? What I do with my clients is I will design an entire system and see what that costs, and then kind of divide it by the estimated useful life of that, and then try to make that kind of an annual budget. Some ways that I've found programs have been able to kind of get more money than maybe they wouldn't otherwise is teaming up with theater departments. So a lot of schools have theater departments and they only do spring production. Well, they need a lot of wireless headset mics and they need, you know, some other things. So can we go to the district together and say, hey, can we use this in the fall, and they'll use it in the spring?
Because again, at the end of the day, it's the kids that are paying for their fees and dues and tuition. And so we want to make sure that they're getting the best instruction possible. So, you know, we just have to be mindful about how we spend that money and what we're asking for and what's right for the group at that time for that year.
The most important thing that having an end goal and saving provides you, it allows you to put the money in the education of the kids in the current years. I see programs that blow the bank on audio equipment in 1 year, and then they don't have enough money for people to teach the kids. And when it comes down to it, like, is the gear affecting the student's experience in the way that a teacher would? I don't think so. Like, so if you can have great people teaching your kids and your organization is sound that way, that's goal number one. And then, you know, the things that we want to do from an audio standpoint, those can be phased in.